have a new addition to my pillow lineup. Hi everyone, it's Tasha and welcome to another recipe video. And today, because I'm still in a breakfasty mood, we are going to be making the easiest ever almond matcha croissants. And we've got some very strong lighting coming in specifically from here. The sun is searing down. I've blocked it with my curtains, but it's still kind of very light heavy on this side. In fact, I've actually got my photography light working on that side. So yes, it's very strange to have such a sunny day and have a light on, but otherwise my face would be completely silhouetted by the sun coming in very directly on one side. But I'm happy to have a nice sunny day, and it's going to make taking photos of these wonderful croissants even easier. I'm also very sorry about how I pronounce croissant. Like, do you go full French on the pronunciation and sound a bit stuck up, or do you completely give up? Croissant. If you're like me, you absolutely adore almond croissants. They are typically twice baked, so you'll have the pastry chef baking like a plain croissant first, then they will cool them, then they will slice them, then they'll fill them full of almond frangipane, and then they will bake them again. Making croissants though is quite labour intensive. It takes a few days sometimes. You have to flatten out a sheet of butter, and you have to flatten out a sheet of pastry, and then you put butter in the pastry, fold it, put it in the fridge, take it out, roll it out, fold it, put it in the fridge, take it out, etc, etc. I don't have the patience for that, so we're going to go ahead and buy some. And with our ready-made pastries from there, we are going to make our almond matcha croissants. So let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. We're actually going to start by making a simple syrup to brush our croissants with, because our croissants are already cooked, so we don't want them to dry out in the oven when we put them back in the oven. So here I have 50 grams of caster sugar, and I'm going to add in 50 millilitres of water. Now I'm going to pop the heat on to about medium. I'm going to give it a little swirl. And I'm going to let this come to the boil, and once it's come to a boil, I'm going to wait for 3 minutes while it boils, and that will be our simple syrup. Now this is what I mean by actually boiling. It's rolling, the bubbles are really bubbling. So once it reaches that point, then you start the timer, 3 minutes on the boil. And now it's been 3 minutes, we're going to turn the heat off, take this off the heat, and we're going to leave it to cool. Now we're going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees C. Now we're going to make our matcha frangipane filling. Here I have 150 grams of unsalted butter, which I've softened at room temperature, and I'm going to add in 150 grams of caster sugar, and also a good pinch of salt. Now I'm going to sift in a generous tablespoonful of matcha, and we're going to give this a good stir. Nice and smooth. Now I'm going to crack in 2 eggs, but I'm going to mix in 1 egg at a time because that makes it a little bit easier to stir. Now it's at this stage I'm going to add in just a couple of drops of almond extract. We don't want too much because we don't want it to overpower our matcha. Give that a good stir. I add it in this stage because it's a bit easier to incorporate evenly into our batter while it's all still a liquid. And finally we're going to add in 200 grams of ground almonds, and we're going to give this a good old mix up too. And that is it. This is our matcha frangipane. Oh, before we take this away, very important, we're going to reserve about 4 generous tablespoonfuls of this stuff, because not only do we want to put the frangipane inside our croissants, we want to top it with them too. There you go, that's about 4 heaped tablespoonfuls. Now we have our ready-made croissant, and I bought a pack of all of these from the shops. All butter because I think they're the most delicious, but you can use any type you like. I have also done you the favour of slicing these off camera. I've left a little hinge of them. You can slice them straight through, it doesn't really matter. And now, do you remember our simple syrup? This is nice and cool now. We're going to take a croissant, dip, 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 and dab, dab, dab. We're going to do this on both sides. There we go, that was pretty much all of our syrup. I made sure that I focused around the edges as well. Now we've got our main bowl of frangipane. I'm going to roughly divide it into 4, and I'm going to dollop it in quarters on every single croissant. And we're just going to smooth them down and sandwich them. And as if that weren't enough matcha frangipane for you, I have the extra. So we're going to put a tablespoonful on top of each and we're going to spread it around. And finally, we're going to dot some toasted almonds on top. And now we're going to bake these for about 15 minutes until they're golden brown. 15 minutes later, and look at these beauties! Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell how buttery these smell. Okay, we're going to let these cool down for about 10 minutes because they're quite hot now, and we want to do the final stage. To make our icing, I have 2 tablespoonfuls of icing sugar, and these are heat tablespoonfuls. I'm going to add a teaspoonful of matcha, I'm not bothering to sift it this time. And I'm going to gradually stir in some water. I've got about a tablespoon's full worth here, but I may only need a teaspoonful's worth or maybe 2 teaspoonfuls worth. Depends on the texture you want. You want a drizzly but still quite thick texture. And be careful because icing sugar soaks up water really fast, so before you know it you have a thin watery mess, so do it gradually. And this kind of consistency will do nicely. Let's bring back our now nice and cool, but still a tiny bit warm in the middle, matcha almond croissants. And we're going to do some drizzling. Let's cut one open actually, see what it looks like in the middle. Oh my goodness, that looks incredible! Oh my, now that is a generous amount of filling. Just how I like it as well. These are absolutely oozing with frangipane. Don't you just hate it when you buy any kind of filled croissant and there's barely anything inside? You will not be disappointed with these. I'm going to take a bite and I'm going to do so carefully because I don't want it all to squish out onto me. Cheers! Wow! Not only is this one of the best breakfasts I have ever made, it might actually be one of the best almond croissants I've ever eaten. Everywhere sells them, not everywhere does them well. There are a few very good bakeries in London that do amazing almond croissants, and I rarely brag, but this might be up there with them. Now when I say that, I don't mean in technicality. These London bakeries, they make their own croissant dough and they are superb and super skilled. Making croissants is not a joke. And we have cheated here, of course, we've gone out to the supermarket and bought them. However, when you use croissants for these, make sure you find really good ones. I went to my trusty local Marks and Spencer's, they do really nice all butter croissants, but you can get some super dry, flavourless, horrible ones too. So don't skip on the quality of your croissant and then you have a fantastic base for a really tasty almond matcha croissant. I mean, if you could go to one of these really nice bakeries and get their croissants and use that at the base, you can do that too. I think that's a waste of a really good freshly made croissant though, so maybe don't do that. Stick to high quality but still supermarket level croissants, you'll be fine. I find that the longer I'm saying this word, the more a W is slowly sneaking into it. So there you go, Cheats Almond Matcha Croissants. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram on tashcakes.taste, and find me on TikTok too, on tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more, give this video a like if you'd like to help other people find it, comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. Thanks for watching. I keep getting this one single strand of static hair in my eye.